Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Satisfaction, 10 Albums That Changed My Life. And this is a book from Martin Popoff and focuses on interviewing a whole collection of musical artists from all different kinds of backgrounds to get an idea of the albums that really influenced them. Most of them, it's 10 albums. A handful of them, it's only a couple, which... why call it 10 albums that changed my life if not every artist gets to talk about 10 albums? Just a thought. I do have to say this is definitely leaning more towards rock music and some pop music. I don't think there's a whole lot of hip-hop or any R&B artists. Not a ton of them. But this book does give a chance to have artists speak their own mind. Some of them talk a little bit more in depth. Some of them say a sentence about each one, which, there's a different varying degree of how much you get out of these artists, which there's some inconsistency with that. There's also some editing issues that I saw throughout the book. There's one artist that had the same album twice on their lists, and that was their 7th and 10th album on the list. So there's little things like that stuck out. And in general, some of the drawbacks of this is just it's overly simple. Some of them you don't get a whole lot of depth, and it does get really, really repetitive after a while when every single one of them has the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and very specifically the Jimi Hendrix Experience. It's I can guarantee you at least a third to half of these artists had some of the same albums, and then it gets a little repetitive because especially if they don't go a whole lot in depth into why they specifically connect with this, hear a lot of the same things. I do appreciate some of them are, especially a few of them towards the end were a lot more obscure picks, and I'm okay, that's interesting. So here's the thing. Who would want to read this? If you're really into music, I think this is a fun read. And if you're also looking to expand your horizons and try out some new albums, this has tons of recommendations for you. Tons. So, take a dive, read it, get some ideas for some new music to check out maybe. A lot of it, obviously, are older albums because these are people that, for the most part, are older to begin with, and talking about the albums that influenced them. So if you want to take a deep dive into some older great albums, there's a lot of great recommendations that you could get out of this read. But those are my thoughts on Satisfaction, 10 albums that changed my life. Let me know what you think and let's talk some books. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.